Well, today we are going to be looking at whether Anthony Fauci was involved with the formation of COVID. So, what we'll be looking at first is we're going to look at a few details. So, who is Anthony Fauci? He's a renowned American immunologist and public health expert. So this information is from DuckDuckGo, and it's the free AI that comes with it, which is Llama Scout. Okay, so Dr. Fauci is a well-known person. He's a director of the Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases from 1984. He's still going strong. He provides guidance and advice, but it's not always heeded. HIV and AIDS is quite big in the HIV and AIDS story, but also in the COVID-19 response. He also has been involved with public health advocacy. Okay, numerous awards and stuff, and he's quite an influential person. So, looking at the next issue, which is gain-of-function research, which he has a connection to. So let's explain the gain-of-function. What is gain-of-function? So basically what it is, it looks at the underlying biology of a virus. It's a study of the underlying biology of viruses, for example, and bacteria. But what they can do in the lab is to alter the genetic code and tweak it in one way or another, so it can become more threatening, or as a vaccine, for example, it might point the way to new treatments and vaccines. So, are there risks associated with this? So it's basically you take a natural virus and you tweak it, which could be in a beneficial way, but it could also be in a risky way. So what if you're dealing with a risky virus? What actually happens? Increased risk of laboratory accidents. You really need to have very good biosecurity in the laboratory, and you have to ensure that. Obviously, there are a lot of bad actors out there, so there's potential for misuse, and it will be misused. You can get where you put humans in, you're going to find um, bad actors. So bioterrorism, biological warfare is always and has always been a major concern. Unintended consequences. Of course, you've seen what the release of animals in an environment like Australia, for example, where there are no natural defenses, can lead to unintended consequences. For example, a new pandemic strain where the baseline immunity of communities is very low. Dual use. Now, of course, this is the issue because a researcher in good faith might publish a paper emphasizing the beneficial side, but accidentally release critical information to bad actors out there who then use that information maliciously. So you're really looking at having to regulate and control this to a much higher level than we have at the moment. We're not prepared for this level of control that's required. So that's an issue for discussion. So, of course, these researchers don't always understand the broader context. So, yeah, they've been playing around with the H5N1 influenza virus to make it more transmissible. Like, really, do we really need that? Creation of a modified SARS with enhanced transmissibility in mice. Of course, they'll say, oh, it's mice, but just one or two mutations and it's going to cross over to humans. So, playing with fire. Um, Regulatory frameworks, again, there are all these measures, but one can question whether we fall short or not. Let's look at the next issue now. Did Fauci support gain of function research in China with NIH funds? This is sort of one of the key issues. As a director, he's been at the center of controversy. Gain of function, which we've talked about. The research in question was conducted at the Wuhan Institute of Virology and was funded in part by National Institutes of Health. In the US, so US taxpayer money went into this. You're really looking at 2014, well before um, COVID came around, so it is potentially a problem connecting the two. And in 2014, the NIH funded Dr. Peter Daszak in this project called Understanding the Risk of Bad Coronaviruses, and to assess the risk. But um, unfortunately, they didn't just study the virus, they looked at gain of function experiments, and this really is a major issue now. And we really are not coming to terms with the change, the rapid change in regulation that's required. Okay, so the director, the boss, is always responsible in the end, isn't he? Or she. So the major funding decisions would have come across Dr. Fauci desk and in meetings and discussions. So he really should have guided them and seen the problem ahead then. We're talking about 2014 here. Um, but of course, now that the pandemic has come, there's heightened concern about this type of thing. Dr. Fauci maintains that he didn't support gain of function, but it's very clear that he was part of the mechanism that did, and he was the responsible person there. So again, there's a whole story there. So he said kind of story. But there clearly was a line of command there. So the next question is, why is the US, even at that point, they regarded China maybe as potential adversary? Why would you support research in China that had a potential biological warfare angle to it? That kind of doesn't make sense. It sounds like there's more to the story.